Nation correspondent at large, Geraldo Rivera, joins into the conversation now. It's always good to see you, my friend, even for our special
You
coverage
too.
on not the first time on a weekend evening. So it's, that these big moments in history, you can't really compare one to the other, but you get the same types of reactions, whatever it is, like when the Berlin Wall falls or whatever it may be. People say, I never thought I would see it. And now with some of these Iranian Americans, this particular woman went to Australia, they say, wow, I never thought I'd see this. And here it is.
Well, it is a monumental development, we hope. But
Right.
remember, we have some minimum goals that must be attained. Otherwise, this will not be a success. We have to get a real ironclad, enforceable agreement that there will be no nuclear weapons developed in Iran. You know that you've heard it all. Everybody has been talking about it. No ballistic missiles. There has to be no surrogates, no more Houthi funding, no more Hezbollah funding. The one that has, and now back to your point, Connell, we have to have the fourth leg of the table has to be no Ayatollahs in charge. The
Right.
Ayatollahs, the religious radicals that overthrew the Shah back in 1979, they've been ruling ever since, trying to impose their version of their religion on the people of Iran. They've been just suppressing them in a way that has been inhumane. But this will not be settled on the streets of Los Angeles or in Times Square by demonstrations. Regime change is hard. It's hard. It's often bloody. It's often prolonged. I think that we have to work at it. We have to stay the course. Ambassador Bolton is right, and so is General Kimmett. I believe that you can't. This is not flyby. You can't change this thing with a wink and a nod. I believe
We've tried before.
that you have
Has it
to
ever
get
worked
kind of.
well?
This is my point.
Do you think? No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just think that we need the Iranian army to be on our side. And I believe that that is possible. I believe it is possible for President Trump to deal with the Iranian army, not the Revolutionary Guard, not the Ayatollahs and their crowd, but with the real military, the army. They have not been guilty, as far as I know, by any stretch of the imagination, of the abuses of the people that the theocracy has inflicted. I believe that if we went to the Iranian generals, people that we know from the days before the Iran-Iraq war in the 80s, their progeny, their institutions, I believe that by getting the army on the side of the protesters, you can get the Revolutionary Guard, isolate them, isolate the radical clerics, and then you have a reasonable chance to evolve to something like a representative government.
See, that's interesting, because that's what I was about to ask you about, whether we've ever done this well before. And you probably heard Ambassador Bolton go back to the Shah coming to power, but that's what we did then, right? We did get the army on our side. The original Shah of Iran coming in the 50s after the CIA organized coup was a military officer, right? And Ambassador Bolton said his rule for 25 plus years was, in his mind, a success. Because I was giving all these other examples, Iraq, Afghanistan. I'd even throw in Libya, where, I know you spent that time there when Gaddafi fell. So this, as you said at the beginning, regime change is hard.
Regime change is hard because there's no structure. For instance, the American Revolution. The American Revolution had the Continental Congress. There was an institution that the revolutionaries, the warriors, that would be organized by, would get the weapons for them, get the ammunition for them, would give them safe haven and all the rest of it. You can't, to have a revolution, we're calling on the people of the streets of Tehran to rise up, rise up against your oppressors. What are they going to rise up? They're going to rise up and they're going to get shot the way they got shot last week and the week before that. We can't, you can't ask people to be kamikazes, to just, give up their lives willy-nilly. They want democracy, or they want some voice in their government, whatever you're going to call it. But we have to give them, like I heard Ambassador Bolton reference Syria. Syria, for all its anarchy and all the rest of it, the long war against Assad, there was the Syrians that were the people that made the traffic lights work, that had delivered the milk to the poor babies, or the fertilizer to the farmers. There was some kind of structure. There's no structure for the opposition, as far as I can see right now in Iran. That, I think, is very important.
Yeah.
The army can provide that structure, and I think that that's probably where we should be headed.
We only have like 30 seconds left, but how ugly do you think the Iranians are prepared to make it? Like, I was surprised oil wasn't up more. It was originally like 10%. Now it's 4% higher right now as I look at it. They could try to close down the Strait of Hormuz. They could, how ugly do you think they're going to make it?
I think when you corner a rat, that's when they're going to bite you. They're going to turn on you and bite you. I think that these are the last, I would hope, these are the last days of this oppressive regime. But I think that they will be as dangerous as their weaponry and their ammo supply allows them to be. And one other caution. We have not seen, what have we not seen in the Middle East in a while? Suicide bombers, individuals acting out, their own little wars, blowing themselves up at bus stations or planting dynamite, in the nursery school and so forth. We've seen that ugliness and how bitter and ugly it can get. But I think that, again, if we can get one Iranian institution on our side, the military, the clean hands, the fighters, they fight against other soldiers. They don't victimize, they don't go after Israelis or civilians. I think that we need to pick a side and back that side, and it can't be an Ayatollah.
Geraldo, as always, thank you, my friend. You're the best. Geraldo Rivera tonight as we...
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.